we're going to count 18, I'm going to think of that as being 0. Because I'm going to count, are we counting the dashes, or are we counting the space in between? We're counting the space in between, so he's like, for myself, I'm going to count 18 as 0, and I'm going to start. So go ahead, will you count out loud for us?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10. So how long is the iPad?
10 inches.
10 inches. Raise your hand if you agree. Raise your hand if you're like, I think he's a little off.
I think
He's a little off. Explain why. Have a seat. Thank you so much. You and that was
I
awesome.
think he's a little off because, so,
I mean, is his counting incorrect?
yeah. So I see that it's 8, oh, wait, never mind.
Never mind. Okay, did you see what you did wrong?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, once again, how come it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? So I'm going to write Ewan's answer here. Zeka.
Because you count the numbers in between, not all the numbers.
I want to count the space in between, which is why it really helps to see that Ewan did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's how we know that is the distance, that is the length of our iPad. If I count the dash marks, then I'm adding that extra 1 inch, right? Yeah. Last one, my dry erase marker. It's a little messy, I apologize. My tracing skills aren't so well. Cash, come on up. Give me our handy dandy green marker.
So, just like Ewan said,
Turn and face your classmates.
just like Ewan said, you turn the full into a 0.
In your head, or do you actually change it there? Can you change the ruler?
Yeah, so I can
Yeah?
just do this.
So you're just going to cross it off on the ruler and be like, I'm starting my own way of measurement.
Or you could just imagine it in your head. I'm just going to do this.
So he's doing that as a reminder, right? There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So how long is our dry erase marker?
5 inches.
Cash?
5 inches.
And he's going to write it. Perfect. Beautiful. Once again, one more time, just to make sure you get it. Thank you so much, Cash. Nice work. So he said it's 5 inches. I'm going to try counting my way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hear Violet count. 6. How much did you count?
There it's 6, but it's actually 5 inches.
It's actually 5 inches. Do we see what I did?
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm counting these little notches, but I'm not counting the space in between. So my number is going to be off. So make sure you keep that in mind. When you look at a ruler, we might not always start at 0. Or someone might say, hey, can you tell me, on this long strip, say we used our, what are they called?
Meter stick.
Either a meter stick or the measuring tape. I'm sorry. Measuring tape, and you had to lay it out, and someone says, hey, can you measure the dry erase marker that's here? And say 0 is all the way over here, and the end is all the way over there. It's good to know how to do that. Are you going to count the tick marks where each number is?
No.
No, you're going to count the starting point.
Spaces in
Like it's
between.
little loops together.
Not the 0.
Awesome. So, last step, I'm going to slide this over. What is the difference, so the length, how much bigger is the iPad than the Elmer's glue bottle? I'm going to give everyone a minute to think, and then I'm going to call people up, this one person up to write out their equation on the board for us. Sophie, will you come on up and show us your equation, your number sentence and an equation, and how you solved it?
That you have 10 and you take away 6
How'd you know to do that?
because it says it's 6 inches on the Elmer's glue bottle. So and then that would equal 4, so it's 4 inches in the difference.
The difference. So how did you know to subtract and not add?
Well, because because you don't know the number yet, then you don't know how much to add.
You don't know how much to add. But when I say, okay, how do I know which one is bigger? If I ever ask you which one is bigger or which one is longer, what do you know right away? Thank you.
That's the 10 inches iPad.
The iPad is 10 inches. We know this one's bigger. So when I say, what's the difference in length between the two? The difference. What does that always mean when I ask for the difference? What is the difference between this number and this number? Amelia.
Like the number that takes to get to the bigger number.
The number it takes to get to the bigger number, which is also the amount, the numbers in between each, which always means you do what? What kind of equation would you set up to find that number?
You would probably you would minus it or take away, because if you added, you would get each number even bigger than the biggest number you have, and you're only trying to compare those two numbers.
Right. So you're saying if we do addition, then we're kind of adding, we're climbing out of what we're trying to find, right? So we're not really finding our answer anymore, we're just adding these numbers, and it's like, well, that's finding the total number, right? Which is very different than the difference. All right, so what is the difference between the iPad and our dry erase marker? Finner, will you come on up, show us your math equation? You don't move that other, that's fine. How'd you know how to do that?
Because 10 is bigger than 5, so you always start with a bigger number. And if you start with a bigger number, it's more likely that you're not going to go into negative.
More likely that, well, yeah, we're not going to go into the negative, thank you. And how'd you know to subtract?
Because if you added, you would get to 15. And
What would 15 be? What would that be the answer of? What equation? Can I ask, let someone else answer this one? So you said, oh, if you added, you would get 15. What would that answer, what would the question be for that answer? So we're kind of doing reverse. We're flipping it around. Thanks, you can have a seat. Zeka.
10 plus 5.
10 plus 5, which would equal what?
15.
In terms of, say you were creating the word problem. I give you the answer and you create a word problem.
The word. So the answer is 15.
Correct.
And
This is a tricky one.
then, well, 10 plus 5 would equal that amount. But if you did it reverse, it would be 10 minus 5.
Yes, and the reverse we'd be finding the
difference.
The difference. So if we're adding them, what are we doing in terms of our objects here? We're finding what, Sebastian?
we're finding why, since it's not an equal number, since 5 is not an equal number,
What do you mean by that?
that two numbers, two of the same numbers don't.
I think we might be going a little deeper than what I'm asking. I'm just saying, so we're finding the difference of these two objects. So the iPad is 5 inches longer than the dry erase marker. If I say, okay, I'm going to add these numbers, so 10 plus 5, so the iPad plus the dry erase marker, what would we be finding? Kyan.
The sum
The sum, which would be the total
number,
or length. The length of both of these objects. So do you see the connection between finding the difference and the sum?
yes.
One would be lining them up and saying, okay, here's my iPad, and right next to it, there's my dry erase marker. So this would be sum. The difference would be like lining them up, like this. And then this space here, would be finding the difference. Raise your hand if that makes sense. Hand on your head if you're like, ew, what? We will keep reviewing this, and this is a way more complex concept, but I want you guys to understand how sum and difference connect with each other in terms of measurement. So this would be the difference. So this is the the length that is not covered by both our marker and our iPad. Any questions? Let me erase this. About finding the difference between two lengths and comparing two lengths. Any questions at all? No? So we understand?
Yeah.
That was a hesitant question. No? All right, so when I count down from 10, I would love to see everyone sitting back at your desks with a pencil ready for our assessment. Ready, go.